Hey guys, so last night was AEW's Revolution 2021 pay-per-view. Unfortunately, I missed the first two matches on the event itself, but from what I understand, it wasn't that big of a loss. I mean, the first match, of course, was the tag team title match between the Young Bucks and the Inner Circle's Chris Jericho and MJF. And as a lot of people pretty much predicted, the Young Bucks did go over, and thus it does plant the seeds, as we would find out later on, for something that a lot of fans have been, hoping would happen, or basically potentially predict would happen sooner than later, and that is the potential. Not saying it's accurate just yet, but the potential of MJF turning the Inner Circle on Jericho. But from what I understand, the match was good. There was no interference, from what I understand, and basically the Young Bucks went over. Jericho took the L for his team by taking the Meltzer driver to take the pinfall and everything. And that's the one thing about Chris Jericho that I think we can all agree upon with him, is the fact that his main purpose in AEW wasn't just to be like, okay, I'll be the first AEW champion, but in return, I'll help put over this other talent that needs to be put over, that deserves to be put over. So, yeah, Jericho took the pinfall for his team, and again, as we find out later on, it plants the seeds potentially for MJF to turn the Inner Circle against Jericho this Wednesday on Dynamite, when they have the War Council meeting to kind of shake things up, kind of, fix things, change things, figure things out, if you will, kind of reboot the system of the Inner Circle. The other match that I didn't watch on the pay-per-view was the Casino Tag Team Battle Royal. Some basically did say it had some good moments in there, which I will agree. Any kind of Battle Royal, tag team or individually, it's going to have its moments, but it's not always going to, hit that stride, or, hit that potential, that true potential you believe a Battle Royal of any kind could potentially have. In the end, basically, the representation of Death Triangle of Ray Phoenix and Pac end up going over, and they will get a future title shot against the Young Bucks, either on a future episode of Dynamite or at Double or Nothing at the end of May. But besides those two matches being the only ones I've missed out on, everything else I did see, everything else I did enjoy. From when I got home from when I got home and turned on my TV to the very end, I thoroughly enjoyed it. First off, the first match I actually got to see live was Shida defending against Mirazami, Ryo Mizami, if you will, the winner of the Women's Eliminator Tournament, to get this shot. From what I saw, because I also had to go take care of some other things as well before I finally settled down and watch the show. They did a video package explaining the history between the two, which I think is something that, everybody else has said, AEW needs to do a lot more of, especially if you don't know too much about certain individuals. So they did a good job in getting the history of Ryo and Shida over for people to understand and, get prepared for when it came to this matchup. And this match was everything you expected it to be when it came to Joshi wrestling. I don't think it would have mattered if you put Shida in there with Ryo that we got, or Ryo Mizami, or Riho, as they call her, or what's the other girl that everybody's talking about? Miho, if you will. Mio Toadi, or whatever her name is, the Japanese idol singer girl. I don't think it would have mattered who you would have put Shida in the ring with, basically, for this match, if it came to those Joshi wrestlers, because I think you would have gotten exactly what we got here, and we got nothing more than a stiff Japanese women's match, Joshi match, that delivered, I believe, in my opinion, on all accounts. Both women brought it, and you can definitely tell that AEW, wants to get behind a lot of the Joshi wrestlers, because they see they have this personality to them, like they're embracing, the gimmicks that they, are given, or they that they present to the world. Oh, and they're taking it to that next level. And both women have been doing that. Riho definitely embraced it here. Again, just a great matchup. I know some people are feeling that the kickouts and the reversals, and some of the strong strikes and palm strikes, knee strikes, and all that were a little unnecessary. But I thought overall it did a good job, and it definitely showcased why Kenny Omega behind the scenes is, behind the Joshi wrestlers as being like the face of the women's division, because it definitely shows that there are women out there, and I say this with no offense. No offense, I say this with no offense, that there are definitely women wrestlers out there, from his point of view, I guess, that are strong, that are women that are not afraid to get stiff with each other. In other words, really just make it seem like so real that, you believe it. So, again, I say that with no offense, but that's something I think Kenny sees from his perspective. Overall, the match was good, and of course, Shida won. Then they were attacked afterwards by Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, Rebel, Miho, if you will, and then they were saved by Thunder Rosa, Rihu, as they call her, and a few others, and that sets up a 6-woman tag on Dynamite. The following match we had Kip Sabian and Miho, Kip Sabian, I should say, and Miro, formerly Rusev, taking on Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy get jumped by Kip and Miro before the match during an interview. Miro gets a great moment where he tells looks right in the camera and says, "Play my music," drags Chuck Taylor out. And it was okay. It was an all right match. I think this match probably would have served better if it was on Dynamite, but I know this being a pay-per-view, a global kind of event or showcase, you want to try to showcase in front of the world Miro as being this monster, this Bulgarian monster. But overall, it was good. In the end, of course, Miro and Kip Sabian win. There is a moment where Miro kind of shoves or pushes Chuck Taylor right into Penelope Ford, and she takes a bump. And Kip Sabian, of course, that being his wife, if you will, I guess in real life and storyline, is concerned for her. And Miro's like, hey, you got to hot tag me. We're going to lose this match if you don't get me in there. So he basically gets Kip Sabian to get back in the ring, tag him in, and then Kip goes back outside to check on Penelope. So there's something there. There's something there that I think that's getting planted. It's very subtle right now, but I think there's planting the seeds for a potential Miro betrayal of Kip and Penelope, and we might get Kip and Penelope turning face. Who knows? But in the end, like I said, Kip and Miro retain. It keeps Miro strong, and all I can say is that if they're planting the seeds for him to get a shot at the TNT title or the world title down the line, then they did a heck of a job in doing so. The next match, of course, is the big money match between Hangman Page and Matt Hardy. It was a good match. Two guys that know how to, get the job done, work well, in the ring and tell a story and everything. In the end, Private Party tried to interfere. That backfired when Dark Order came out, and it basically enabled Adam Page to hit the buckshot lariat on Matt Hardy to win the match and get Matt's first quarter earnings to come his way. And it looks like the ending was, Hangman Page, bringing the Dark Order in for a group hug, embracing them. So I guess, he's not totally aligned with the Dark Order, but he does look at them as being a group of colleagues he can count on. People like he can hang out with, but not like be, the leader or anything, but a group of people he could be like, yeah, I think I can hang with you guys for a while and all that. But not be like, the new guy that's going to take over, take Brody Lee's place or something like that. So overall, it was a decent match. Then we had the face of the Revolution ladder match for a shot at the TNT title this Wednesday. You had Scorpio Sky, Cody Rhodes, Lance Archer, Max Castell, and who else did you have? You had Cody Rhodes, Lance Archer, Max Castell, Penta El Zero Miro, Scorpio Sky, like I said, and then of course the surprise entrant, All Ego, Ethan Page, formerly of the North Tag Team in Impact Wrestling. This match was good. There were moments in there where Cody started to get into what, the Schleg Daddy or OTR etc. would call Jeff Jarrett mode, founder mode, where it would look like he'd be taken out of the match and then come back, and then try to come back, or would come back and try to win it even with one arm. But in the end, Scorpio Sky does win. It comes down to him and Cody. But Scorpio, basically beats him in the head or hits him in the arm or something like that. Pulls his head a little bit towards him, says something to him, and then pushes him down. And then Scorpio Sky grabs the brass ring, a freaking, everybody was joking about this thing, a freaking Sonic-like ring, to win the match and get the title shot against Darby Allin this Wednesday night on Dynamite. And speaking of Darby Allin, we follow this matchup with the street fight, the cinematic street fight between Darby Allin, Sting, and Team Taz, which is Cage and Starks. I thought this was really well done. Great moments during it between all competitors. Of course, you also had other members of Team Taz like Hawk and Real Hobbs show up to try to put give the advantage to Team Taz. But in the end, Sting ends up winning the match by hitting the Scorpion Death Drop on Starks in a ring that they had set up in this undisclosed location to win the match. There was also a moment where Darby Allin, he was getting thrown all around. Like Cage tossed him through a door, double doors. Him and Hobbs, when Hobbs showed up, did a swing on him, swung him into some glass glass window or something like that. And then Darby Allin decides to jump off this freaking ceiling and onto Cage, who's laid out on this board in between this, crater area or this opening in this undisclosed location. And then, like I said, Sting hits the Scorpion on Starks to win the match. And then we get to our main event, the exploding Barbarian Deathmatch between Moxie and Omega. This was actually good for a majority of it. It was exactly what you would expect. An exploding Barbarian Deathmatch that you would only be able to see most times in FMW in Japan. Great, great moments, great explosions between the guys. Great moments with the explosions when the guys would fall into the wire. Some innovative moments like when Kenny hit the one-winged angel for the attempt at the pinfall. The first time he did it, Moxley put his leg up right onto the barbed wire, which set it to go off, and it came in. It basically, the sparks went into Omega's eyes. The ending did kind of feel a little down. I will put it this way: the ending, even though predictable, I felt was like unnecessary, because it felt like, well, if you were going to do this, why didn't you just put this match on Dynamite, or something like that? Because here you had the Impact Wrestling tag champs, the Good Brothers, come in, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows. They help Omega win by handing him a barbed wire bat that has a C4, whatever it is, connected to it, and he hits Moxley with it to basically set him up for a second wing angel onto a chair, win the match. But then in the end, the aftermath, they basically tie Moxley up, or not tie him, but handcuff him up, beat him down more, allowing the countdown to begin, because we were hearing this countdown about 30 minutes before Explosion. So we get down to like the final minute or final 30 seconds. So Omega and the Good Brothers leave. They're leaving Moxley there to basically go out in a blaze of glory, if you will. But then out comes Eddie Kingston, Butcher and the Blade. They beat up on them. Kingston goes into the cover to try to get Moxley out of there, try to unhook him. He covers him, and all of a sudden, 3, 2, 1, boom! There's an explosion, right? Nope. All of a sudden, it's like it's kind of. And everybody was getting a kick out of this, because what we got instead was like a little poof on the ground, and then you hear these sparklers going up, kind of like when they do an introduction for a show like Dynamite. That's what you got. It was not good. It was not good, the ending. And even Moxley, in a post-unaired promo, after the event, after the pay-per-view went off the air, even he came on there and said, yeah, Kenny Omega might be a tough SOB, but he don't know how to put together a freaking exploding death match for nothing. So my assumption on this, and everybody's been bringing this up, Solid Monster, Just Alex, OTR Central, all of them. Everybody's been basically saying that the only way AEW could save themselves from this embarrassment is to have Callis and Omega and the Good Brothers come out and play it up like, ha ha, see, we gotcha, we fooled you, you're stupid, we smart, na 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 na. Kind of do that typical Bullet Club kind of stuff. So I would expect them to try to do that to save face, because this was embarrassing. This was embarrassing, honestly. So yeah, but overall, but besides the kind of ending after the match officially, with the botch explosion for the match, I overall I thought the main event was good, and I'm not going to take anything away from that. And overall, I thought the show was all right. I thought it was so-so. You know, like I said, there were matches I liked. I liked the Joshi match. I'm not going to deny that. So I liked the cinematic match. And until the ending, I liked the Exploding Barbarian Deathmatch. But I think AEW, if they're going to do another Exploding Barbarian Deathmatch of any kind in the future, they need to make sure that they get somebody to put that thing together that knows what they're doing. And again, like I said, the only way they're going to be able to save face is to basically play it off like, oh, you know, Omega and Callis and the Good Brothers meant for that to happen to troll us, to make us look like fools, to show that, see, we're not just the best people in wrestling, we're the smartest. You know, so overall, though, again, I thought it was just a so-so pay-per-view. It was good at moments, there's no doubt, but it wasn't not, I'll put it this way, it was not one of their better outings, honestly. And I don't know if it was the rescheduling from the 27th to the 7th, 27th of February to now, that threw them off. I don't know if that was it. But overall, I have to say that, again, it wasn't one of the best outings. And hopefully with Double or Nothing at the end of May, they can do a lot better. But yeah, I thought it was good. And, you know, I don't know how long they're going to keep Moxley off. I'm assuming, this is what I'm assuming. I'm thinking what's going to happen is Moxley's going to come back on Wednesday, show that, yeah, he's all burnt and everything, but nothing really happened and everything, because it's going to make the rounds, that, you know, off-air promo. It's going to make the rounds. So obviously Moxley's going to have to come out and say, yeah, you beat me, but you didn't get the job done. And what was that explosion? Was this your way of just trying to troll us, say that you're smarter than us? You know, so I don't know. But overall, like I said, it was a so-so pay-per-view, not one of the best ones, and hopefully they can recover with Double or Nothing in May. But what do you guys think? What were your thoughts on AEW Revolution? Did you like the event? Did you feel that, you know, AEW could have done a lot better when it came to some matches, maybe the match card structure itself? What are your thoughts overall? And do you think they can recover from this with Double or Nothing in May? Let me know down below. Comment if you like. Let me know in the live chat during the premiere. And I'll talk to y'all later.